Hey everyone, I am Sanket Singh and welcome back to my channel. So guys, in today's video, I have a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine. So today we have Riddhi Datta with us. I'm sure a lot of you guys might be already aware about who Riddhi is. If not, then I would like to introduce a few things about Riddhi. So Riddhi is currently working as a software engineer at Amazon India. Prior to Amazon, he worked with Arcesium as well as a software engineer. And he's one of the fellow YouTuber. He has got more than 14,000 subscribers, and he is contributing not only about the guidance videos, but also he put a lot of content around the data structures and algorithms. The actual educational content he also actually put. And to be very honest, I am like really inspired about the fact that he is contributing on the both side of the picture. Like he's also guiding a lot of students, and at the same time he's also contributing to the educational content of DSA. That's really great. He also teaches a lot of free lectures at Unacademy. So if you have not yet watched his channel or his lectures, I'll drop some comments and links in the description section. Do check it out. So let's just welcome Riddhi. So hi Riddhi, happy Diwali to you and your family.
Hey Sanket, happy Diwali to you as well and all your viewers.
So guys, today I have Riddhi with me to discuss, I would say, a kind of interesting topic. This topic has been in buzz in your LinkedIn feed. Probably if you are active on LinkedIn, then this topic must have been in buzz since a very long time. So today we are going to discuss about the fact of whether you should do more of development side in order to upgrade and upskill yourself, or you should do more of the data structures and algorithmic side. I won't include a lot of CP discussion because CP is definitely not for your career growth. I believe it's a more of a mental sport. It's a brain sport. I would like to keep that with that spirit only. But like talking about the more of the data structures and algorithmic part and the more of the dev part, what you should do in order to upskill yourself and I would say scale your opportunities and your career growth. So all of these things we are going to talk with Riddhi. And being in this software industry for more than 2.5 years, Riddhi has not only taught a lot of students but also have been there when he was in college. So he also has his own perspective. So whatever we are going to discuss in this video will be around my opinions on whether you should do DSA and dev or like what's the thing, and including Riddhi's opinion. Things might change for you depending on what kind of opportunities you get, where you are studying, where you want to work. Like, right, everything is not ideal for everyone. You have your own journey, you have your own path, but I believe this overall conversation is going to be interesting for a lot of folks. So without any further delay, let's just start. So Riddhi, like the first question that I would like to ask to you is, when you started your journey in this software industry, and now you are one of the successful software engineers. So what do you think, as a budding engineer, what was more important for you? Learning the data structures and algorithmic part of computer science and the computer science foundations, I would say, was more important, or actually implementing products, like having that builder attitude, building products, building projects, going to hackathons? Was this of a more contributing factor in your overall career growth? What's your say in this?
So first of all, it's a very nice question, but I would like to say one thing. Like I always tell this to my juniors, whoever reaches out to me. I feel that there are two things, right? One is cracking an interview and one is what you do on job, right? So data structure and algorithms is something more that will help you to crack an interview, right? And development and all those experience, right, that you will have while building personal projects or working for internships, that is something that will help you more on job, right? And the data structure and algorithms again is something I won't say it won't help you at all, because at the end of the day it builds up your problem solving skills. So like whenever you see a problem or whenever you're trying to do an implementation, if you have done DSA, what happens is inherently in your mind you feel to like you have that urge to solve the problem in a most efficient way, right? And that is something I feel solving a lot of data structure and algorithm problems puts it into your veins, right? So that is one very important thing, like how data structure might probably not directly help you data structure and algorithms, but it indirectly helps you. And also data structures I think is very important, even not algorithms. We might not see a lot of algorithms in production and while we are working as a software engineer. Like according to my experience, I haven't seen much, though I have seen one implementation of Knapsack, but that's a different story anyway. But yeah, data structures is something I think you would come across, like at least the basic ones like hash map, hash set, a tree set. These things I have, like linked list, these things I have used a lot, like I've seen a lot being used, right? So yeah, that is one thing. And apart from that, if you're talking about competitive coding or whatever, DSA, these type of things, these type of problems would help you to crack a job, like to crack interviews, and development and all this builder attitude that you just mentioned, that will help you on job, because that at the end of the day you're getting inside a company to build a product, right? So if you have not done development, then you might suffer big time. What I feel is, even I think Gaurav was saying, I was having this discussion with Gaurav last year as well on my podcast, and he was also saying the same thing, that like training on algorithms or data structures, this I feel takes more time. Development is something still you can learn on job, and that is why probably the company thinks, okay, if you don't know a particular tech stack, we might be able to train you on that, we might afford to do that. But if you are not very well accustomed with algorithms, we can't afford you to train on algorithms, because that is more harder to do, right? And also it requires more practice, your IQ, and a lot of things comes into the picture. So that is also I feel that why companies mostly focus on algorithms and data structures. And also for big companies like, let's say, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and all the big companies that are out there, right? So when you are applying for a particular team, first of all, they might work on a lot of different tech stacks in the same team, right? And if you don't know in which team are going, like Amazon or Microsoft, they work on varied technologies, right? Especially for Amazon, I think Microsoft still works on C# and mostly, but a lot of other companies, right, they work on a lot of technologies. So they can't hire on a basis of particular stack, because they might ask you questions from JavaScript, and at the end they might give you something else. Although JavaScript is a very fundamental thing, I shouldn't have mentioned JavaScript, but let's say they are interviewing you for React, and at the end and they are working on Angular, so it doesn't make sense to take your interview in React, right? But they know that what is a fundamental thing that will require across everything. So JavaScript is a common thing that links, so they can take your interview on JavaScript, they can take your interview on data structures, right? Because these are common things, this won't change with framework. That is why companies mostly focuses on fundamentals that would help you to crack interviews. Having said that, fundamentals will again be required on job, but they would not be required directly, they would be required more in an indirect manner. But yeah, all those development skills and building attitude, that will definitely come into play once you get inside a company and start working for them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And I really like that one pointer that you mentioned, that if not algorithms, then data structures are something that you really see a lot when you do a lot of dev in these companies. Because like when I was working with LinkedIn, I used to do the backend with Java, and like there were some specific choices that we need to make, that whether we want to use a hash set, immutable hash set, a hash table, hash map, like based on our use cases. So the knowledge of the data structures part was definitely something that I used to have in day-to-day manner. Like I used to discuss about what we should do and what we should use in an implementation, that was discussed in a day-to-day manner. And talking about algorithms, I would say I myself also implemented some recursive algorithms for getting some error logs and error information from some MySQL error stacks. So that was something when I used a bit of algorithmic part. But yeah, few of my friends have used some graph-based algorithms during their work in some e-commerce companies. So yeah, I that totally makes sense. And yes, data structures and algorithmic part is nowadays more focused around the interviews and like getting into the companies. But as soon as you go into the company, more of the dev side knowledge is going to be used. Before moving forward, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, that is Relevel. So Relevel is a platform where you can get your dream job based on your skills, and nobody is going to judge you based on your college. So you know that the only way to excel in this job market is to skill up and keep on improving on your skills from there on. So Relevel has already been changing lives for months now by becoming India's first hiring platform that empowers job seekers to showcase their skills through tests and get their dream job within 15 days. And now Relevel has launched its very own learning product as well, where if you are learning to start your career as a software developer or just pick up the necessary skill, this product is for you. You have multiple tracks in front-end and back-end development, and you are going to learn a lot of skills from industry-ready experts. These tracks will include 300 plus hours of learning, hackathon-like coding contest, one-to-one mentoring, soft skills and preparation, merit-based scholarships, Relevel social nights, etc. You will learn the theory from the veteran developers and then get a chance to pick up required soft skills to navigate the industry from the leaders themselves. So what are you waiting for? Head over to the product link and start your journey to transform your career forever. But I would like to ask you one more question on this. So the dev knowledge that students get in the college, right? So in the college, like most of the students start learning about like a bit of web dev or maybe a mobile dev thing, right? They generally focus on these two major fields. Some explore things around data science. Will not discuss about that, but like they learn a bit of HTML, a bit of CSS, a bit of JavaScript for the front end part, and then they start looking for the server side thing. Maybe some people learn the server side in Python and Django, some in Ruby and Rails, some on Node, and they're in frameworks like Express. So like this is what the college students generally learn. I guess most of my viewers will also agree with this fact. But do you think the dev knowledge that they acquire in the college days is very relevant to what they will be doing in companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Adobe, and things like these?
Actually, it depends. Like, for example, if you talk about Microsoft or Adobe, right? These companies, I think they have their own tech stack, right? So, but again, like companies like Amazon or like Google, they have varied tech stacks, as what I know, right? So, I mean, it depends. But what I feel the students should understand is they should not run for frameworks, because when you're starting with coding, frameworks might like make your job a lot easy, right? But when you're using frameworks straight away, you are missing out on the fundamentals. But what as a student I always focused on, I wanted to build things, like let's say I wanted to like I built a C++ game, right, without using any graphics, right? But with graphics you can easily build that game. I mean, it will just be a very simple piece of cake to do. So I always focused on building things from scratch so that it strengthens my fundamentals without using too much framework. Because what I feel is, let's say if I talk about web development, right? So if I talk about web development, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. HTML, CSS again is on the, like, I would say more on designing thing. But let's talk about JavaScript. JavaScript is a very fundamental aspect. You need to learn and understand JavaScript. Then there are different frameworks that are built on top of JavaScript like React, Vue, and Angular. But what I mean to say is JavaScript won't go away. I mean, it is there to stay for some time, right? But right now we have React, or right now we have Angular. Angular was popular, then React came, right? But now I think there's also a framework Vue. You don't know what's next, right? If these frameworks keep coming and going. But what will be permanent is JavaScript, because all these frameworks are mostly built on top of JavaScript. So if you have a very, very good fundamental on JavaScript, I don't feel you will have a lot of problem in changing tech stack. And what these companies mostly focus on, they want you to be a first learner. They want you to evolve very quickly with any change of technologies. They want you to be in a position where you should not be bothered too much about technology. You should be bothered about how to design a system, how to scale the system, because there were a lot of users using it, right? And a lot of other things. But what I've seen, I have never seen my teammates being worried too much about that tech stack. They are like, okay, you will learn it. It's not a big deal. That's why you're here, right? You have done the hard things to get over here. So I think tech stack and all these things you would probably learn. But what is very important here is to have the fundamentals very correct. JavaScript is just an example, right? Let's say if I'm talking about backend, so what is a dependency injection, or what is an inversion principle? All these things, these core fundamentals should be clear. Framework can be anything, but the fundamentals should be very clear, like the OOPS concept. And I also feel a little bit of LLDs is something you should learn. Maybe like a lot of companies don't ask for SD1 interviews, but I feel that at least if you know the design patterns and a little bit of LLD, then it might help you to understand and comprehend the code base that you will see in the company. Otherwise it would see like all you have done mostly is, if you have not done an internship, let's consider you have not done an internship, I've only done personal projects, and then you suddenly get into a company, right? So what happens is you kind of find a huge gap between what the code base that you were accustomed to or you thought the things would be and the kind of code base that you see. So I feel that also a little bit of LLD, design patterns, writing unit test cases, these things I think you should look into before joining a company. I think that will definitely help. And obviously Git is very, very important for any, because Git, if you don't know Git, then you'll be facing a very, very tough time in any company you're working for, because so far you were only an individual contributor to all the projects that you work in. Mostly you work with 2-3 people, right? But when you're working in a company, in a big team, you're collaborating with so many people, and having the knowledge of Git, having a sound knowledge of Git is, I think, very, very important.
Makes sense. Yeah, I totally agree with this fact. If I want to conclude whatever you said in a single line, languages are here to stay, frameworks may not. Right, this is something that I also tell to my students, that, and someone also, like my mentors also used to tell me, that learn the language as much as possible. Frameworks you will eventually understand, because it's more of the documentation part. I totally agree with this, and like that was the main reason why I asked this question, because students feel that whatever they are learning in the college, they are going to use the same thing in the companies, and that's not the case. And again, the same thing, your foundations should be clear, right? Your dev foundations fundamentals should be clear, how things are working, how databases are working, how indexing is done, right? If you want to learn more about indexing, then how actually indexing is done is using B plus trees, tries, binary search. There are more of the algorithmic part, how exactly string matching queries are done, they are using advanced Boyer-Moore. So like these things are going to, I would say, eventually conclude to foundations of computer science, data structures and algorithms, and this is something that is going to be there with you for the longer run. And I totally agree with the fact that students should also focus on object oriented programming and a bit of LLD. So like if you will ask me, then I was really into the object oriented programming of C++, and that was the reason which made C++ my first language, because when I see a code base, I'm not scared about the fact that okay, what may be going on, I know what is going on, right? So having a knowledge of object oriented programming in like one of the languages of your choice is going to give you a very good edge. Although I know like the concepts of OOPS will differ language to language, but again, there are some certain concepts that are going to remain as it is, so that really is important. And the version control part, that is like something which is currently there, which will eventually be there forever. So don't miss the version control part. Git is something that is mostly used all over the industry, like 90 to 99%. So I would highly recommend people to do that. So yeah, that totally answers my question. One more thing that I would like to ask you, Riddhi, that like we discussed that what one should do, but now what do you think if someone is more interested towards the mathematical or the problem solving perspective, right? And they are more into the data structures and algorithmic part, they want to solve more problems, they know how an algorithm works, but they want to see the applications in different kind of puzzles. The puzzle solving attitude is something that is possessed by someone. So how do you think they should focus on the project building and the product building side? Because I believe companies don't want interview crackers. I am strongly with this notion that companies don't want interview crackers. Company wants engineers, right? So if you will just do data structures and algorithm for the sake of the fact that you enjoy, first of all, and you want to crack interview, that doesn't make sense, because what company is going to do with an interview cracker, right? But if you are an overall engineer, you know how to solve a problem, and then as soon as you know the solution, you are able to build the product. This amalgam is what companies are looking for. So if someone is more into this problem solving perspective side, how they should contribute to more projects, how they should build more projects so that they can have a portfolio, they can showcase their, I would say, project building skills. What's your take on that?
Yeah, actually, like what I feel is it's a nice question. I don't know whether I would be able to answer it or put it in a correct way, but I would definitely give it a shot. So basically what happens now, like let's say who are good problem solvers, like people who are doing data structure and algorithms just for getting a job, that's fine, and they probably are not too attached with it, right? But let's say for people like us who have done competitive coding on data structure and algorithms at a time when, you know, at least I can say when I'm from a tier 3 college where I never even dreamed of, you know, getting into these type of companies. All I was doing competitive coding in my 6th semester back in 2018 was mainly because, you know, because I enjoyed doing it and loved the thrill of it, right? I mean, it was because at that time, if you see back in 2018, if you see the first half, I mean, how many off-campus hiring were going on, and that too from a college like me, all I dreamt of was getting just a job. So there was no motivation that, you know, like if I do competitive coding, then I would be landing up a great job, for which students right now have that kind of motivation because they are seeing that results. But for me, it was not the case. All I did was just for the fun of it, right? So I mean, when you get into that zone then what happens is when you come into development, because development is more of a manual kind of thing. I won't say it's there is no technical challenges at all. No, there are. But again, you kind of find it a bit boring, especially when you get into a company, especially a big company where there are a lot of processes, right, that goes around. It's not only about coding. Like I always say, I mean, you also would agree to this, and any software engineer would agree to this, that when you get inside a company, I don't think we are even coding 20% of the time, right? 20 to 30% of the time, that's what we are doing. Either we are communicating, we are holding meetings, we are looking at the design and a lot of things, right? Deep diving into the code base. So yeah, documentation, which is a hell, I think, to do, but very important. So I think Yeah, so it's not only coding that we're doing. So if you only feel, and what about data structure and algorithms, it's a when you are in that zone, right, you always, it's like you got given a function snippet, so you don't have to worry about anything. Everything is being provided to you. You just need to think about the algorithms. That is much more exciting, right, and requires much more of brain work than manual work. So when you get inside that zone, I know you will find a lot boring when you suddenly switch to that development kind of mode or start working for any company. So you have to need to make, like, I feel you need to make that switch, otherwise, because at the end of the day you would need a job. If you want to do a job, you need to make that switch. You can't be in that frame altogether. I know many people, I've seen many people actually getting bored, and they are like, I mean, company work is very boring and very easy. I mean, I don't have to get that amount, get that same amount of fun. Even I thought so, like when I started joining my first company. But you see, I think there are challenges everywhere. Like I feel that you have to invest your brain in everything. I mean, it's not that it's only you can do that in data structure and algorithms. Even these requires, I feel, a different type of skill. Working in a company and contributing to the team requires a different kind of skill. So I think you need to, as a software engineer, I think you definitely need to learn to make a switch if you want a career out of software engineering. Otherwise, if you want to be just a competitive programmer, I don't know, like whether you can, probably there are ways to earn money out of it. But if you want to look for software engineer jobs, then definitely you need to know, you should learn to make this switch, and you should definitely build up projects. Because if you don't have projects, first thing is, like, you won't have anything to talk about in the interview, right? And when you don't have anything to talk about interviewer can ask you anything and everything, right? They might ask you DBMS question, they might give you one coding question, they might give you OS fundamentals question, and you might not have the answer for it, and the interview might not end in a way that you would have liked. But if the question mostly from projects, the probability or the chances were higher that you would be able to answer more and more questions, because it was something that is to your strength, considering the fact that you have done the project yourself. So that is why I feel it's very important to have projects, good projects, so that you can strike a conversation around it and spend some time in the interview, especially in the hiring manager rounds. And also, I feel without any projects, I don't think your resume would get shortlisted. And even if it does, you would probably go to the coding rounds, but you might face a tough time in this hiring managerial rounds or managerial rounds, because what I've seen in the managerial rounds, they focus mostly on the projects and experiences that you have got, right? So I don't think you get much more coding questions in those rounds. Apart from that, they would ask you behavioral questions, right? A behavioral question is a very common round for all the product-based companies. So how would you answer them if you haven't contributed or worked for the team, or haven't contributed to any project, right? So then, like, you have to make stories up, and trust me, making stories up in a behavioral round is a very tough thing to do. I mean, probably the interviewer would be able to catch you as well, right? And I don't think you are too smart, because they have been interviewing a lot of people like you, and after a certain point of time, all these stories suddenly get common, right? It's just like when we used to make attendance excuses back in school, right? So I mean, they have that experience. If you have not worked on it, then probably they would be catching you. So I feel that's why it's very important to work on projects. If you want to crack a job, you have to do both. Let's just face the reality. It's not that I'm very good at competitive coding, I won't do projects. No, it won't work. I mean, you can do it, but if you want a job, then you have to do it. That's I think that's the reality right now.
Makes sense. Yeah, and like I totally agree with this fact. Doing work, like, startups have more of the rush and the fast pace, where you make more features, debug less, and then you see the results in production. But like in MNCs, things are more around debugging. Like, one thing that you write will create a log of 200 page file, and then you have to debug that file and see that one error message that is going to help you crack that what caused this whole stack trace to give these many logs. Like recently I was working on one of the features, and I got like a 200 page log, and I was like, I spent the whole 2 days. It took me 2 days to debug one single line that I was missing. So it's sometimes more frustrating. You don't actually solve something. Sometimes it can be finding a needle in the haystack, sometimes it can be building features, sometimes it can be more documentation. So a software engineer as a whole is more than just coding. I totally agree with this fact. And definitely people who are more into data science and algorithm, if they want to build a career out of software engineering, they should try to build projects, because eventually they help you structure your thoughts. Writing a linked list code or writing a segment tree code, which is what, like 200 lines or max 300 lines, or writing a code base which will be in millions of lines contributed by multiple people, is something a very different experience. And as an overall engineer, you should get that. And if you want to build more projects, I would recommend people to go to more hackathons, try to contribute to open source development. They will give you I would say a very good and nice experience of production level softwares. Hackathons are going to give you that, I would say, competitive spirit of winning. And if let's say you win a hackathon, so you get a new line in your resume as well. So like definitely I totally agree with your thoughts, Riddhi, and I believe that our conversation will help a lot of students to shape up their thoughts that doing just a dev or doing just data structures and algorithms is not going to help in a very longer run, because as an overall software engineer you are someone who knows computers. In order to know computer, you need to know those foundation of data structure and algorithm. But as a software engineer, you need to make products, and in order to make products you should have that builder attitude. You should know how to build things, how to structure a new app. These things are also going to be there with you. So like both of these things go parallelly hand in hand. There is no point of ranting about the fact that we should do one thing or you should do another. When I was in college, I did both CP. I used to participate in a lot of short and long contests. I also got rank 1 in a Div 2 CodeChef long challenge back in October. So like, and then I contributed to a lot of open source stuff. I participated in Google Summer of Code, successfully completed it, did a lot of internships, was problem setter for few organization. So like I used to maintain that amalgam, right? I wanted to be an engineer. I just didn't want to be an interview cracker, or I just didn't want to be someone who just know how to code a segment tree but don't know how to code a Zomato app, right? These things I didn't wanted to, like, I would say, leave on. And it's on students to maintain that balance. And definitely, as Riddhi suggested, you need to be ever learning in the field of software engineering, because this is what makes your profession different from the others.
Just one thing I would like to add over here. It's like I don't have very much experience in this field, just 2.5 years, but still whatever I've learned so far is like when you're doing data structure algorithm, when you're solving data structure algorithmic problems or doing competitive coding, the learnings is very fast. You learn something each and every day. But when you're working for a company, from the technical side, you won't, like, from the technical side, the learning can be a bit slow, right? I mean, that's what I feel. There would be some days you felt you didn't learn anything and wasted time. But it's not the case. Maybe you're not learning anything on a technical side, but maybe from the other side, from the communication side, or how to handle things or manage things, you learn a lot from the soft skill side. So learnings are there. Don't get demotivated just because you're not learning things technically. But yeah, I mean, these things will slowly pile up, and like it will help you in the long run as a software engineer. Because software engineer is not only about coding; it's about a lot of things. And as you go along, you would slowly understand whatever these things, and they would come into picture.
Yeah, cool. So that was it. I was really into the conversation, I must say, Riddhi, and we discussed a lot of things. I hope that this discussion is going to help a lot of people to shape up their career and get out of the buzz of whether you should do CP and DSA. Please don't waste your time in the LinkedIn post in just ranting about the fact what you like. Both of the things are going to be important no matter what someone is saying. You should see what actually the industry demands. You should take a call on yourself. And that was it for this session. I will definitely link all the channels and all the contributions of Riddhi that he has done for the community. All his important lectures and channel link will be there in the description section. Do check it out. And definitely we are going to do more such live sessions. And thanks again, Riddhi. Thanks for being on the session. I hope that you guys also enjoyed the overall conversation, and if yes, then don't forget to hit the like button on the video. And if you have any doubts, if you want to ask something specific to Riddhi, or if you have some suggestions for some videos, don't forget to drop those suggestions in the comment section. We'll be definitely replying to all of those. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video whenever we are going to put a new video on the channel. Till then, take care guys. Bye bye. Have a great week ahead and love you all.